There is a question that we all carry within us, whether we acknowledge it or not. It is a question whispered in the quiet moments of our lives, in the stillness between breaths, in the vast space between thoughts. What happens when we die? For some, the question is met with fear, for others with curiosity. But for the sages and mystics, death has always been seen not as an end, but as a doorway into something far greater, far more profound than our earthly minds can grasp. And so today, I invite you to take a journey with me, a journey beyond the veil of the known, into the sacred teachings of the Bardo Thodol, the Tibetan Book of the Dead. This is no ordinary text. It is an ancient guide, written to illuminate the path through life's greatest mystery, death. But in exploring the nature of death, we come to understand something even more profound, the true nature of life itself. Let's begin by considering a question. What is death truly? Is it merely the cessation of breath, the stilling of the heart, the silence that follows? Or is it something deeper, something far more intricate, woven into the very fabric of existence? According to the wisdom of Tibetan Buddhism, death is not the end. It is not a void into which we vanish. Rather, it is a transition, a shift from one state of being to another, a passage through the mysterious and liminal spaces known as the bardos. The word bardo itself means intermediate state, a realm of transition where the soul navigates the space between one life and the next. But these bardos are not only experienced after physical death, they are also present in the moments of transformation we experience during life. Every ending, every significant change is a bardo, a chance to shed the old and step into the new. And this is where the teachings of the Bardo Thodol become particularly powerful, for they offer us not only a map through the bardos of death, but through the bardos of life as well. The teachings remind us that we are always in transition, always in a state of becoming, always standing on the edge of the unknown. But what is it that lies beyond the threshold of death? What awaits us in the mysterious space of the bardo? According to the Tibetan tradition, the soul encounters something both awe-inspiring and terrifying, the clear light of reality. It is a light of pure awareness, a light so brilliant, so radiant, that it can either lead to liberation or, for those unprepared, become a source of fear. The great sage Padmasambhava, who is said to have hidden these teachings for future generations, spoke of this light as the ultimate truth of our being. In the moment of death, the soul is stripped of all its illusions, of all the identities and attachments it has carried through life. In that moment, the clear light appears, and for those who are ready, it is recognized as the true nature of the self. For those who can hold steady in that recognition, liberation, enlightenment is possible. But here's the challenge. In that moment, many souls do not recognize the light. Overwhelmed by the intensity of it, they flee. And so, the journey through the bardos continues. Fear, confusion, and attachment to the familiar can pull the soul away from the opportunity for freedom. And thus, the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth continues. Conclusion. In this first part of our exploration, I invite you to reflect on the deeper meaning of these teachings. What does it mean to see death not as an end, but as a transition, a moment of profound clarity? What does it mean to recognize that, in life and death alike, we are constantly being presented with opportunities for awakening, for liberation? And most importantly, how can we prepare ourselves for this journey? How can we, in our everyday lives, cultivate the awareness, the presence of mind, that will allow us to face the clear light when it appears before us? The truth is, this preparation begins now, in this very moment. It begins with the awareness that life itself is a series of bardos, a series of transitions that offer us the chance to wake up, to see beyond the illusions of the material world, and to connect with the deeper truth of who we are. In the next part of this journey, we will dive deeper into the stages of the Bardos and the specific guidance offered by the Bardo Thodol. But for now, let's sit with the mystery. Let's sit with the knowing that we are, at all times, both living and dying, both dissolving and being reborn. Let this be a moment of reflection, a moment where we ask ourselves, what is the light that I am seeking? And how can I begin even now to recognize that light within myself, within life, and within death? As we journey through the realms of life and death, through the bardos that shape our existence, we must come to a profound realization. We are always in transition. The bardo is not merely a stage between death and rebirth. It is the very nature of our existence. Every moment, every breath is a bardo. We are constantly shifting, evolving, moving from one state of being to another. In this sense, life itself is the ultimate bardo. We are living in the space between birth and death, caught in the ebb and flow of time, emotion, and experience. And so the question arises is, how do we live in this bardo of now? How do we awaken to the present moment and live with the awareness that we are always in transition, always on the verge of becoming? The answer lies in mindfulness. To navigate the bardo of life is to cultivate a deep conscious presence, to see each moment as an opportunity to awaken, to transcend the illusions that bind us, and to live in alignment with our true nature. In the Buddhist tradition, there is a teaching that speaks directly to this truth. It is said that each moment is like a wave on the ocean, rising, cresting, and then dissolving back into the vastness of the sea. If we cling to the wave, if we attach ourselves to the form, we miss the greater reality, the ocean itself. But if we learn to ride the wave with awareness, to see it as a temporary manifestation of something much larger, we begin to awaken to the truth of impermanence. This is the essence of living in the bardo. It is about recognizing the transient nature of all things, our thoughts, our emotions, our experience, and finding peace in that transience. It is about learning to let go of attachment and fear, and embracing the flow of life with grace and wisdom. To live in the bardo of now is to realize that every moment is a death and a rebirth. Every breath we take is an opportunity to release the old and welcome the new. This is not just a poetic concept. It is a profound spiritual truth. The more we practice being present, the more we train our minds to recognize the clear light of reality in each moment. The more we let go of the stories we tell ourselves, the identities, the labels, the attachments, the more we connect with the essence of who we truly are. But this is not easy. The human mind is conditioned to cling, to grasp, to hold on to the familiar. We fear the unknown, and so we create stories and structures that make us feel ice. We build identities, relationships, careers, and we define ourselves by these external forms. Yet, as the teachings of the bardos remind us, these forms are temporary. They will inevitably dissolve, just like the wave returning to the ocean. So how do we live with this knowledge? How do we embrace the impermanence of life without falling into despair? The answer lies in trust. Trust in the unfolding of life. Trust that every moment, no matter how challenging or uncertain, is part of a greater design. Trust that we are always exactly where we need to be, even when it doesn't feel that way. In this trust, we find freedom. Freedom from fear, freedom from attachment, freedom from the need to control. We learn to surrender to the flow of life, to ride the waves of change with openness and curiosity, rather than resistance and fear. And in that surrender, we discover the profound beauty of the present moment, the only moment that truly exists. As we come to the close of this journey, we are left with a deeper understanding of what it means to live in the bardo of now. We are always in transition, always on the verge of becoming. Life is not static. It is a continuous flow of moments, each one offering us the opportunity to awaken, to grow, to transcend. The bardos of death and rebirth are not separate from us. They are within us, reflected in every experience, every thought, every breath. The clear light of reality, the peaceful and wrathful deities, the karmic forces that shape our existence. These are not distant concepts to be encountered only at the time of death. They are present here, now, in this very moment. And so, The greatest teaching of the Bardo Thodol is not merely about how to die, but about how to live. How to live with awareness, with presence, with compassion, and with trust. How to navigate the transitions of life with grace, knowing that each moment is a step on the path to awakening. As you move forward in your own journey, I invite you to reflect on the bardos you are currently navigating. What transitions are you experiencing? What attachments are you holding on to? And what fears are keeping you from fully embracing the present moment? And most importantly, how can you live in the bardo of now with the same awareness and courage that will guide you through the ultimate transition of death? This is the practice of life. This is the art of living in the bardo. To be fully present, fully alive, fully aware. To see each moment as an opportunity for transformation, for growth, for awakening. In the end, the journey through the bardos is not about escaping death. It is about embracing life. It is about awakening to the truth that we are already whole, already complete, already connected to the vast ocean of consciousness that flows through all things. So let us live with that awareness. Let us navigate the bardos of life with the wisdom and grace that comes from knowing that we are not separate from the light. We are the light. And in that realization, we find not only the key to navigating death, but the key to truly living